This is video 10.2.3a, and the goal here is to solve equations with square roots. So first we need to make sense of what a square root is. So what is a square root? This is first example. This says square root of 25. The symbol means square root. And what square root is it's the opposite of squaring. This question is asking here, what number squared gives an answer of 25? That's what this question is asking right here, this one problem. That is what that is saying. What number squared gives an answer of 25? So we're being asked that question in that statement right there. And well, let's see, what number squared gives an answer of 25? Well, the number 5 gives an answer of 25, because 5 squared equals 25. The square root is the opposite of squaring. So we know this 2 right here means take 5 to the second power, but we also say 5 squared equals 25. And so the square root is the opposite, just like multiplying and dividing are opposites. Same with square and square root. So now you're going to give it a try. So we're asked in question 1, what is the square root of 9? Remember, that's also asking what number squared gives an answer of 9. What number squared gives an answer of 9? So what number squared gives an answer of 9? That's what you're being asked in question 1. So try 1 through 6, pause the video, try the questions, and then check back in the video for the solution. So hopefully you noticed in the last one, question 6, that it got a little bit harder because there is no exact number squared that gives you 18. But there is a key on your calculator that will tell you that it's about 4.24. And that key on your calculator is right next to the x squared key. So if you find the x squared, you should be able to find the square root. Now the good news is you won't have to be calculating decimal values for the square root of these numbers very often in this particular unit. But you will be needing it a lot next year when you get to geometry. So here are the solutions in green. Hopefully you found them. You can guess and check in your calculator, or hopefully you know some of these by heart. The number squared has to equal 36. So remember, we're looking for the same number multiplied to give you the answer inside the square root. What number squared equals the number? So now we get to points where we have to solve equations with square roots. And the number one strategy for doing so is undoing. So we're going to undo square roots in order to solve equations that involve square roots. So the first example, square root of x equals 8. What I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the square root. So the opposite of square rooting is squaring. So I'm going to undo that by squaring not just one side, but both sides. I'm going to square both sides because that undoes the square root. That leaves me with x alone. The other side is 8 squared. That is 64. Now I should be able to check my answer. Apparently I'm done. It was that easy. I should be able to check. If x is 64, I can put 64 right here and see if I get 8 like I'm supposed to. So I'm going to take the square root of 64, and I'm going to ask myself what number squared gives me 64, and the answer is 8. So it is in fact right. This is the answer. The 64 is the solution to my equation. Undoing. That's what we're going to do to solve rational expressions, rational equations like this. This second one is a little bit different. Notice where your square root is. We got some more stuff going on. It's not just x inside. Okay, but I'm still going to slowly undo things. The first thing that I want to undo, though, is the 2. I want to get rid of this 2. So think this 2 is actually 2 times the square root that you see here. So to get rid of that, I'm going to undo it by dividing. Divide. I'm going to cancel it out. It makes a big 1. I'm left with square root of y plus 2. I still have that. equals 4. Now that should make sense because 2 times 4 equals 8. So that should make sense that this square root here should in fact be the same as this 4 here. They should be equal because 2 times this guy, 2 times this guy gives me 8, just like it's supposed to. So that's some other reasons why that definitely has to be 8. Has to be 4 to make it 8. So now I'm going to undo the square root because I have the square root alone. So I'm going to undo the square root by squaring both sides. That is the way to undo square rooting. I am left with y plus 2 on the left. It just cancels that out. It's kind of like making a big 1. And I get 4 squared on the right. But that's equal to 16. And then I'm going to do one more step to get my y alone. Take off 2. And y is 14. And there's my solution to the second problem. I'm going to definitely check my answers because this is very new to me, so I'm going to check my answers. Remember our problem was 2 square roots of y plus 2 equals 8. So if I plug 14 in, I should get 8. And so by checking my answer here, it looks like I do the square root of 16. I have to do the square root before I multiply by 2, so I'm going to get 2 times 4. Square root of 16 is 4, which equals 8. So my answer checks. 14 is my solution to my second equation. So your job today is to try to undo to solve in your square root equations. Some of them get harder than others, but see how far you can get. And definitely ask your teacher. She has the answer key for you to check it over and see if you're doing things right. So be sure to ask lots of questions if you're